Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining the Capsule Marketing webinar on creating great video content. My name is Simon Isaac. I'm the Managing Director and founder of Capsule. I'm accompanied here today by Laura Shoebridge, our Marketing Manager, and Jamie Goodrum, who is our video lead here at Capsule. We'll have an opportunity to answer questions at the end of the webinar. So do please pop them in the chat, and Jamie and I will take those questions at the end, and we look forward to doing that too. So let's get started. So today we'll cover quite a wide range of topics actually, and quite a number of points, and that will help you, I think, get your head around and actually get into producing some great video content. I'll cover a lot of ground, but don't worry, because we're recording this and we will be making it available on YouTube as well at the end of the webinar. And also you'll have the opportunity, if you haven't done already, to download our free comprehensive guide to creating great video content. And we'll have a QR code at the end of the webinar that will allow you to do that. So quick question on the screen there: is video marketing right for your audience? And well, the answer is probably, and there's a number of reasons for that. We'll cover a number of points today, but I mean, there's some interesting facts really. I mean, people are reading much less and watching much more. And so, you know, it goes without saying that video content could be, and probably is already, the future of digital marketing. You know, 78% of people are watching video content online every week, and that's always increasing. So I think, you know, that for me is a telltale sign that you must have video content in your marketing arsenal. So I think let's look at some of the knock-on effects of that. As marketers and as business owners, I think it's crucial to think about, you know, why video content is right for my business. The 60% of businesses use video as a marketing tool already, but there are still some who, you know, who aren't using video and they don't believe they need to. It reminds me a bit of when, because Capsule has been around for 12 years, it reminds me when we were telling people, probably something like 9-10 years ago, that you really need to have a mobile enabled website, and people really didn't believe they needed to. But look where we are today. I think the same rings true of video production and video content as well. 74% of marketers say that video has a better return on investment than static imagery. And we'd be really happy to answer, you know, because that very often the question for marketers: how do I get return on investment? How do I measure return on investment? It's the big ask usually as you move up the chain to the C-suite or to the leadership team, to understand, you know, how do I get return on investment for this? So we'll talk about and answer some questions around that at the end as well. But it does, you know, generally speaking, video content does actually produce a better return on investment than static imagery when used in marketing. And then 83% of businesses would create more video content if there were no obstacles. And the three main obstacles that we hear about from our clients are time, resource, and budget. So we'll tackle some of those points today as well as we go through the webinar. But the biggest obstacle that people tell us stops them in the first place is actually, you know, getting started. You know, where do I start? How do I start producing video content? So we're going to cover a range of points today that sort of give you a steer in how do you get this right? How do you get this how do you start creating video content? So it's not the question really about, you know, why do I need it, but it's really about how do I get started and how do I produce it? People make comments to us every day. I mean, we talk to people about video content all the time. I'm new. I don't know how to go about creating video. That's quite a common one for people, sort of more junior members in marketing teams usually. People just starting out, and, you know, people saying everything's a challenge. If you're a startup or a scale up, you know, finding the time and budget to produce good video content can be difficult, and we know that, and we have some solutions around it. And then people say they're new to video marketing. This is probably the one that most people mention to us when we're talking with them, and people feel intimidated by it very often. And sometimes, you know, you can work with people who are sort of super professional video producers, and, you know, the jargon and everything else that goes with it can be intimidating, but that's not how we work. So, you know, let's get started. Let's talk about producing great video content. So starting with our sort of first point, really, this is all about defining your video marketing goals. Now, for business owners out there amongst you, and also marketing managers and business leaders, it's not uncommon for you to, develop a range of objectives, goals, and things around marketing, but also your businesses as well. So, this needs to be applied to how you produce video content too. Hello. Can someone turn the microphone off? Right, got it. Thanks so much. So the first thing is, are you trying to create a brand awareness video? Is this about, raising awareness of you as an organization? You might be a new startup, you might be a scale up, you might be changing things within your brand. So a key goal could be increasing brand awareness. Could be lead generation, so for example, if you're looking for your video content to get you new business, you're looking for it to convert into new business or clients, then that you can produce video content based around that. And then, or are you looking to actually deliver video content that promotes a product, a service, maybe a new service? And I think, it's very important to consider those three things. Is it brand awareness? Is it about producing content, promoting content, a product and a service? Or are you really looking to create new leads for your business? So we quite often get people coming to us and say, I need a video. I would suggest that these are the things you need to think about first. What do you want to achieve from it? The next point for us is, what kind of content should you be using and creating? So deciding on this is a real critical part of getting video content right, and also fit for purpose for your organization as well. So don't make the mistake of trying to cram everything into one video. So don't try and do brand awareness and lead gen and promoting a service or product all in one go. That can be confusing, but more importantly, that can create a really long video. If you want to do that, then create 3 smaller videos, I would suggest. Because if you cram everything into one, your viewer will get quite bored quite quickly as well. So streamlining your content is important, but what kind of content could you create? So the first type of video is a brand show reel. And this type of video can showcase your organization and is generally an overarching introduction to your organization. So you can demonstrate the scale, the size, the overview of your services. We produced this one for a client, an international logistics company, that sort of showed the scale and the locations around the world that they work in and deliver to. And you can see here we sort of used an animated format. We produced this in our studio here at Capsule, which we're in today. So you can see that signaling that in this type of brand show reel can be very powerful. This is another video, so it's a product or service demonstration video. So we created this one for an online communications platform, and we used a combination of animation but also filmed footage for this. And sometimes, I think it's making this type of content can actually be really good in terms of promoting you online. So we find that this type of product or service demo can really get the most views in platforms like YouTube or Vimeo. And also, I think, it's a great aid for sales and marketing teams as well. So we produce a lot of this type of content for our clients. And as products and services change as well, things happen really quickly in today's landscape. And then it could be an instructional video. Again, this is a really popular one for us. We created this for the ACCA, and they promote their accounting training and leadership all over the world. So we produce this in a number of different languages as well. So instructional videos, they're really good if you've got a product or something that people need to use. We've also produced instructional videos like this for clients who have products that are quite complex. And one of the objectives for one of our clients recently was to reduce the number of calls to their help desk about how to use a product. So we created a video that they were able to send to their customers and put into their marketing literature, which actually had the right effect for them. It did reduce calls. So it could be an internal comms or cultural video you're looking to produce as well. And we produced this for one of our big clients in logistics again, and they actually did a whole series of online courses for the staff of their children. And this particular one was all about a day of a life of an apprentice. So we went and filmed this one. And sometimes these things never see the light of the light of day in terms of the public, but video is a really good tool if you're looking to make sure that your team are aligned. If you look at today's working world, where a lot of us work remotely, and you're looking to make sure people are all swimming in the same direction, internal videos like this are really, and internal comms videos like this are really good, particularly as well if you're tackling cultural issues within the organization as you shift to different ways of working. And then the final example, obviously, we're running a webinar today, and webinars are a great way to promote the personal side of your organization, I think. And you're seeing real people. This particular webinar we green screened for our client, and they've used this extensively in events and presentations. But the great thing is, you can reuse this content constantly. So, we're recording this today and we're hoping to use it again. Hopefully I won't make too many mistakes in terms of my presentation. But you can see that particularly when you green screen something and apply a presentation behind it, can be really powerful. And actually, this can be a really cost-effective way as well, if you're tight on budget, of producing great video content. The next point is about production values. And people often ask us, oh, can I just produce video content myself? And, I think a lot of people are very capable of this, of producing video content these days, but the production values are important. And I think it's about making sure that, you've got your goals for your video sorted. Are you going to do a brand awareness, or are you going to do an instructional video? Once you've done that, then you need to think about the most important thing is getting the production right. So first of all, who's going to produce the video for you? You might have a dedicated person in-house that does this. You might be doing it yourself, or you might want to engage a specialist company. And I think when you're choosing a specialist company to do this for you, there's so many factors to consider. The budget obviously is important. The people, do you like them? And also, have they got some really good examples? Have they worked with people like us? What's the quality of their content like? And it's so good now. You can find all of this online, and you can get a really good picture of what people do, how they do it, from websites and other research as well. The next one is really how. So how often are you going to publish video content as well? This can have an influence on who you get to produce your content. So if you're looking to put something out there every couple of weeks or every week, then producing your own video content, if you have the capability, is great. But then if you're going to do something which is more, I suppose, polished, has higher production values, then you might want to think about producing a piece of video content that will last you a period of time. So as an example, if we produce a 3-minute video for clients, we generally go in there and produce it, but we come out knowing that we're going to be making social media snippets for it. We're going to be making shorter videos that they can use throughout their marketing calendar year. So, think about it really, and also make sure you incorporate that into your comm strategy and your marketing strategy as well. So, and sometimes a combination of your own productions and professionally produced content could be really powerful for you. This is the bit that most clients really enjoy. So, what style of video? And people often come to us and say, well, I want it to look like this. And we met with a client recently who wanted a more of a reportage, unpolished feel to a video with illustrations and sort of informal, really. So you need to think about what style do I want? What style do I want? Do I want a slick professional look, or a more blog and reportage feel for my video as well? And again, making sure that you build that into your marketing content plan is critical. And then, what kit do I need? So what equipment will you need to get the production you want? You can go online now and find loads of video content on YouTube, which will tell you what equipment you need to create video content yourselves. And, you know, I would recommend that you all do that if you're interested in creating video, but do also think about, you know, again, it's about the production values we're talking here. They do really matter. So when you want that polished look, engage in a company that has a really strong suite of kit, you know, the right lighting, the right sound, good quality cameras that can shoot in 6 or 8K. All of those things are important. And, you know, answering these questions will help you streamline your video marketing really powerfully. Number 4, decide where you're going to promote your video content. It's really important you know this before you're going to start, you know, because there are so many different formats that you have to create video in to get it right. There's nothing worse than creating a really smart video, then you put it onto an Instagram reel or a post, and all of a sudden it's so cropped that because it hasn't been sort of saved in the right format or created in the right format, it's such a shame. So you think about this before you start. Am I going to be using Instagram? Is it going to go on Facebook? YouTube? All of these things are critical, so that what the end product you've got, you get multiple use from, and also that then generates the most value for you. So do think about that, because people do consume content in different ways, and think about your target audience as well. You know, the people that you're looking to engage with, where are they? Which platforms am I going to serve them this content to? And that should help you then get the production values right in terms of how it's shot, and then how it can be cropped, and how you get maximum value from it. So just some thoughts around that as well. So it's, you know, YouTube obviously is the second biggest search engine after Google now. You've got Vimeo as well as a platform, LinkedIn. So think of the different channels where your people are hanging out. And then some ideas around how you can use your content on these channels as well. You know, for example, YouTube, really good for tutorials and promotional videos. Instagram, brilliant for short engaging snippets that can showcase your brand or organization. Twitter, again, short promo videos. Perhaps you want to promote blogs. Great place to do that is Twitter. And then Facebook, like you know, live videos, they create really strong engagement on Facebook, but these need to be built into a longer plan, I think. So you think about all of these. And then obviously you've got email marketing as well, where you can serve links to video content directly to your clients in your campaigns. So you've got all of these things within your gift. So do think about the production values when you're doing this. The next point for us is, you know, define what success looks like. And people often ask us, you know, well, they'll say that I need a video, but what are you going to use it for? And, you know, what does a good job look like for you? You know, obviously it's going to look, you need something that's smart and to represent your brand. But I think about what, you know, you want to achieve from it. So first of all, you know, are you looking for unique views to your content? So these sort of goals again can be built into your marketing strategy and your comms plan. You know, are you looking for unique views? Are you looking for impressions through social media? Or are you looking to get the maximum watch time for your video? Or are you looking for clicks, sign-ups and sales leads? And there's loads of levers you can pull. You know, for example, in YouTube, you can have links to from your video content directly to calls to action, landing pages, sign-ups, that type of thing. But, you know, I think having a really good goal for the video content that you create, or goals for video content you create across multiple platforms is crucial. And these are the 4 generally that are our go-tos when we're developing digital marketing campaigns for clients. Number 6 is about getting the content right. And, you know, we've all watched some great video content online, and we've all switched off some really bad video content as well. So I think getting content right and keeping your viewers engaged is not an easy task, but getting it right in the first instance, it will actually really help you get maximum benefit from your content. And if you think about the most important thing for me is getting a really good storyboard together. So, you know, what's the audience going to be interested in, first of all? What sort of content do they really want to see? What are their pain points? Very often when we build marketing content and marketing plans, we think about the end audience always. You know, what are the things that are keeping them awake at night? So is your video content something that's going to sort of I suppose, serve a purpose and help them to resolve something. So there is my sort of golden nugget. I think, you probably have customer audience research already. You might have personas for your brand. You might have a whole target audience created. Then, really use that, because that can help you create the content that's right, and also the most shareable content that's right for your audience as well. So what are they going to be interested in? What are the things that are keeping them awake at night? And use your customer audience data if you have it already. Then you can formulate a really strong storyboard, which is the next bit. This is an example of a storyboard we created for our client Arc Legal. We rebranded them this year, actually launched this year, and created all of their marketing content. And obviously the video is one of the key outputs from that. So creating a great storyboard is crucial. It's often missed when people produce videos. We really like it when clients come to us and say, I've got this idea for a video because I'm launching a new product, and this is what I have in mind. And for us, then we can have a conversation, and that's how we work. We sit down with people, we talk about their ideas, the vision they have for bringing their brand to market in video content. And that's when we then start to create great storyboard content. It is often missed. It should be the starting point for every piece of video content you produce. If you're looking to create something which is really has high production values and is going to be used over a long period of time. And I think, it's we can then bring it to life with key messages for you before we even get into the production. This is the first crucial part. And actually, a lot of our clients tell us it's a really enjoyable part of the process. And I would say visually, it helps clients understand what we're looking to achieve and what our recommendations are visually around tonality. It really helps at the very start of it. And then you produce the video and it reflects the amazing storyboard that you've made together. Then clients are usually delighted. I mentioned earlier that people are consuming so much content these days via video. And I think, this is a golden opportunity for you to get people on the end of the hook straight away. So this is a real top tip. Make the first few seconds of your video count. If you can catch people's attention straight away, then you've got them, and they're more likely to watch the video. There's a reason why YouTube uses timed video adverts at the start of videos that you're looking to watch. And there's very rarely will I click on something that's like, continue watching the video or watch it for more than 15 seconds. But sometimes something captures me. It might be that I'm in the zone to buy that product, or I'm interested in it. But very often it's like the values I see and what people are saying in that first few seconds is crucial to getting them to watch the whole thing. We get over 400 pieces of marketing delivered to us every day now, probably more. And I think, that's what you have to do. But there's 3 things I think that will help you keep people engaged in those first few seconds. And this is what they look like. So first of all, a pain point question could be a really good way to sort of start off your video. So this is really, as I said earlier, it's like a key part of marketing that we follow these days. Understanding what keeps them awake at night or stops their brand from growing can give you a real march on competitors when you're developing messaging within video content. So these pain points at the start, will really make people think, because it'll resonate with them and they'll say, oh, I have that issue. I know, oh, I really need to do that. So get that sort of pain point in at the start. Sharing a relevant or interesting fact's a good one as well. So everyone likes facts and figures. I look at them all the time, and as you see, I've used a lot of them in this webinar as well. And I'm actually a mind of them, and I seem to remember them for some reason. But if you keep them relevant to your audience, things that they're going to be interested in. So relevant to the sector, a product that they could be interested of yours, that's a real winner for you too. So maybe start with a relevant or interesting fact. And then imagery is everything. A powerful image says a lot. and it captures you straight away. You know, and that's why marketing does use words and pictures to actually capture people's imaginations. You know, it can tell a million stories. It can resonate with people straight away if you've got the right image, and keep them hooked to want to see the whole video. And then once you've done that, I think storytelling is crucial. Storytelling can really, I suppose, touch people's hearts, make them think. And everybody loves a good story as well, particularly, you know, when you're looking at video content. So you think movie here, and you're thinking those sort of qualities. So this is where the storyboard comes into play here. So that point I made earlier, about the sort of essential creation of a storyboard is so important when you think about what's the story I want to tell. Do you want to tell the story of the foundation of your brand? Do you want to tell the story of, you know, the R&D that you've put into a product and then see the end one? We worked for a client over a 6-month period, filming the production of a hydrogen transit van. And, you know, that was really good. So for us, because we were able to spend a good bit of time on it, but we were able to tell a really good story as part of that. That video is on our website as well for AVL. And you can see then that you've got different people telling, you know, their part of how they created this product. They're really proud of it. And when you combine that with really powerful imagery, it's fantastic. You know, and it could be built, you know, so compelling hooks are the way to tell stories these days as well. Got a few tips for you here about storytelling. Focus on one message at a time. Don't try and do too many things in one go. That can make things really confusing for the viewer. Do use a storyboard to build a time structure as well. So, you know, you might think hanging on a particular thing for 10 seconds is really important, but actually that could be way too long for a viewer. So make sure you sort of build a time structure with your storyboard as well. Using strong creative to keep the viewer engaged is essential as well. So, you know, it's not just about filming one person talking for a period of time. It's making sure that the creative is, you know, you've got supporting creative with it, whether it's animations or other footage or stock footage that sort of helps build that up is key too. And then the last thing I'd say is probably use emotion sparingly. There's nothing worse than a cringeworthy video that sort of got, you know, it's starts with a really sad message, because instantly you're going to be turned off by that. So, you know, emotion is a really hard one to get over in video content. So if you can use it sparingly, that would be my top tip. And then our final tip is show, don't tell. So it's crucial to introduce your product or service early on in a video, but make sure that you think about the viewer, you think about the audience, you think about what content they're going to be interested in. And this is, you know, a real opportunity in video content to actually deliver on your goals. What are you looking to achieve with this with a piece of video? And also to enthuse and engage with the audience that you're talking to. And that's where good storytelling comes in, essentially. But don't forget to keep your brand consistent throughout it as well. Make sure you've got your brand identity or logo in it. Make sure the typography that you're using is consistent with your own brand, so people will resonate with that and is reflective of you. And make sure that essentially, you know, you've got the right colors in there as well. If you've got brand colors, then use them and stick to them so that you've got some consistency in the content. And then I'll just sign off the webinar before we take questions. Is a phrase by Chekhov, which I really like, and that's don't tell me the moon is shining, show me the glint of light on broken glass. And that's really about, you know, building this narrative and story around your video content that will help to make your own product, service really shine and resonate with the audience that you're talking to. So that concludes the webinar. I'm going to invite Jamie to join me now, and we've got some questions from the chat. So Jamie and I would be very happy to take those now. So thanks, Jamie.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Yeah, there's been a few questions come through so far, and if you have any more questions, do pop them in the chat, we can answer those as well. So the first one would be, is animation or video production better? Which depending on what you're doing, what do you favor?
Interesting. It's a good point, because again, it depends on your goals. What are you looking to achieve? And animation serves, the purpose very often of getting over a message about a product or an instructional video. But then, filming can bring more emotion to a piece of content. So either or works, really. If you're looking for something more emotive and to obviously introduce people, then I think it's important that you've got those people in the video, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're looking to reflect your customers sometimes, then filming or stock footage could be the right way.
Yeah.
And then animation for sort of instructional. What do you think?
Yeah, sometimes you can combine them both as well.
That's true.
So if you're wanting the sort of a combination of the both, you can have sort of real world footage and then sort of animate over the top of that with fancy like graphics, and
which is something we often do.
Yeah, we do that quite a lot, don't we?
And the great thing as well, if you think about sort of production in terms of timing, animations can be delivered maybe sometimes quicker because you're not out filming and you haven't got loads of arrangements to make. So if you're short on time and you've got to get something to market for an event or for a product launch, then sometimes animation can work.
Yeah, I like to say with animation as well, is if you can imagine it, you can create it.
So, I like that.
Literally, if you're after something very, very specific or bespoke, then animation is probably your better route, because you can, like I say, if you can imagine it, you can normally 9 times out of 10 create it. So animation is kind of endless. But then if you're wanting that more personal touch, if you're wanting people involved in the video, if you're wanting that human element to the video, then obviously, again, video production is you're probably better route to take.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jake. Another question?
The second one is, how do you measure and improve ROI using
interesting
video?
I mean, we get asked this question all the time by all the clients we work with or people that we're looking to work with, whether it's our digital marketing offering or whether it's video production. And what do you think, Jamie, in terms of return on investment? How do you measure that with video? Is it hard?
For me, there's a few different factors that come into play. So you really have what's called your quantitative measures and then your qualitative measures. And starting off with the quantitative ones is obviously your obvious ones. So like your view count. So if you're uploading the video to YouTube, obviously typically your first measure would be how many views the video gets, and then how many engagement the video gets. So if you're uploading it to YouTube or Facebook, are people commenting on it? Are people liking the video, sharing it confidently, and things like that? And obviously, second to that is obviously your conversion rates if it's on a website or things like that. And then you really have the qualitative measures, which are a little bit trickier to track, but you still can. And it's things like brand sentiment. And like you mentioned about when we made that video about reducing calls to the help desk. So again, that's like a qualitative measure that you can do. So like brand sentiment, obviously, we're in that time of year where all these global brands are starting to begin to create Christmas videos.
We've seen them.
Obviously, Asda is probably the most typical one, isn't it? And obviously, for someone like them, one of their key measures would be brand sentiment. So, are people talking about the video? Are people talking about the brand? And obviously, there's a variety of tools you can use to track those measures. So, like social listenings tools, like we've used a Warrior before, haven't we? So, on social media, are people talking about the video? And obviously, you're using the quantitative measures as well, so in tandem with that. So it depends what your objectives are. So like I say, if it's brand awareness, then you probably focus on more of the brand sentiment. If if it's conversions, leads, then you're talking about the quantitative measures.
So I think if you've got a leadership team that you're looking to, they will always ask you about return on investment for things, for work that you're doing. Then there's qual and quant measures that you can have in video content, and actually it probably works so much better than trying to get ROI on print, for example. In the good old days, video content does give you more options, particularly when you're then disseminating it through social channels in your marketing strategy.
Yeah.
Another question, Jim.
Does video production quality matter? And so for me, I think this one depends on your objectives, because on one hand, if you're going for a polished video,
Mm.
and it's not as polished as people would expect, then people will see right past a shoddy attempt at creating a video.
Yeah.
But whereas if you're creating like a meme or like a video for, say, like Instagram stories or reels, you typically do them on your phone, so you know the production quality for those isn't going to be as high. But whereas, you know, if you're a professional, if you're going after that sort of professional manner on social media, and you're looking for a very, very polished video, then obviously production quality will think it's a really good, very well.
Yes, thank you, Jamie. I think it's a really good point. You know, it's horses for courses, really. You know, what are you looking to achieve? You know, and if you're looking, for me, I would definitely have in my marketing arsenal a really well-produced range of videos, whether it's about brand awareness, whether it's about lead gen, or whether it's about product or service promotion. And then, you know, bolstering that with your own content on the ground, which is very often the most shared and most shareable, that people like, because it gives a personality to you. But having that sort of, you know, high production value video content is also really good. So a combination of the two, if you can get that on into your video and marketing arsenal, then you're on to a winner.
Yeah.
Another question, Jamie?
Another one from the chat is, we're touching on the return on investment again. How would you best show that to sort of senior management? So how would you best convey that?
So a really good question. And I think Jamie made a good point about, you know, the different measures that can be used. So again, I would start at the beginning and think about what are your goals. So you will, if you are working in a big organization and you have you'll have the marketing strategy, your marketing goals, your marketing objectives, which will be built on the business objectives. I would say go back and look at those first. You know, what have you been asked to deliver, and then build your ROI case and your performance of the video content around that. So it's very much looking at video as another component or an important component of all of your marketing activity, and report back on that basis. And then Jamie mentioned some qual and quant measures that you can demonstrate as part of that.
Yeah. And then I think there was a few more. One was, I think this one was touching on testimonial videos specifically. So how long should a client testimonial be, and then how would you also get the client to do that in the first place?
That's a really good one, and these are probably one of the hardest videos to create, because if you ask a client to create a video for you, you just do not know what the quality of that, you know, the production quality is going to be like. We all know testimonials are a core part of our offering, you know, because people often go on recommendation and referral in business. And I think that if you're going to ask clients to do this, then you know, think about you could do it in an audio format. So they could record a piece of audio talking about what you've done for them, and then you could overlay that with a piece of video content that shows the work that you actually did for them. I think that's a really smart way to approach client testimonials, as opposed to asking them to film something directly for you, because you know that will also have a time limit on it, because people move around, obviously, and people might say, actually, I don't want you to use that content anymore. So think about it in that context. I think it's a good idea, but I would probably do audio recordings of your clients. And you can do that really simply online using various tools like Zoom as well, for example, and then overlay it with a demonstration of what you did for that client. So they're talking about the work then that you're showing them.
Yeah, and there was one more from the chat. So as a bootstrapped startup with minimal budget, where would you start with professional video production?
That's a really good question. And I think, first of all, look at this as one of the most important things you'll do within your own marketing. And often I think startups say, we don't have the money to invest in it, but I would say, do invest in it. And, you know, video production can start at less than £1,000 for a really nicely produced piece of video content that you can use and get it off the ground. If you're looking to produce it yourself, then I would teach yourself how to do that, and get yourself some decent equipment as well. Obviously, that's sort of, again, a significant investment. But I think some of the things we've shown you in here, you know, storyboard, think about your audience. those sort of things, if you're going to do it yourself, are key takeaways. And in the downloadable guide that you can get here through either the link or using the QR code, that will give you some really good pointers. But, you know, always speak to people like us as well, you know, because we will always be honest and upfront with people about, you know, this is going to cost you X, or this is what that would look like. But you might be surprised how inexpensive and what good value you could get from a professionally created video.
Yeah, and just to add to that as well, I think when you're doing it, particularly on a tight budget, you need to, if you're not a brand that can typically create video after video, then you need to be able to maximize the video that you have created. So repurposing that across multi channels, creating snippets of it. So if you're creating like a say a 1.5 to 2 minute video as your brand show reel or a product video, then, you know, break that down into sort of smaller sections. So if there's like a question that video covers off within the video, you know, snip that down, create that into its own video, and then post that to social media and post that all over your channels as well. So I think repurposing that content is vital for that. So
good point as well.
We obviously, that in the downloadable guide, on the link there we do cover off video production on a tight budget, and there's also an article on our website that goes quite in depth on that.
Oh,
as
okay,
well.
that's
So,
a good point. So there are loads of free guides on our website as well. There's articles, there's blogs as well about creating great video content. Do download our guide as well. We really appreciate everyone joining us today, and we've both enjoyed it. We've enjoyed the conversation here between ourselves. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and we look forward to speaking with you again soon. Thanks very, very much for joining, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Goodbye.